he was trying to compromise him and make him like fluid. He said once you compromise your center of integrity, which is your butthole, you become fluid and like nothing. You get off of it.
I started kicking it with Diddy, right? I ran around with Diddy for 2 years, and this Diddy, we never went to the studio one time, but he was like, yo, I fuck with your demo, that shit, you know, bad boy, but hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap?
Before we dive in, let's get one thing straight. This isn't your typical Hollywood gossip. What you're about to hear is a storm brewing at the intersection of fame, power, and morality. When Terrence Howard, yes, the Oscar-nominated actor and star of Empire, speaks out against music mogul Diddy, the entire industry listens. These aren't random accusations. They're deep, unsettling claims about manipulation, blurred lines, and how far people will go to stay relevant. And now 50 Cent has entered the chat, turning whispers into an all-out expose that could rock entertainment to its core.
All those things, thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. There's a lot of things that people do that end up sitting and they can't get over it. And they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card, that was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. If I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process, I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place. What benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. Buffy invited me. I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music and he's sitting there. He's looking at me. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to, that's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh. Okay, now I get it. And that's always been my whole thing, and have lost businesses because I don't bend over in that. Profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusations. Because in the old world, men didn't hide behind anything. When they spoke against someone, they had to speak it with their whole being. And if you're going to speak against me, then use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths. Man to man, eye to eye.
A big fan of your work. When you came in, the first thing I said is the character, Harvey, Borden, from fighting, right? The way you would speak, the way you would move. But this is the first time we saw you talking about you leaving Hollywood, Rob. If you want to play this clip, go for it.
Terrence Howard here. You made huge headlines when you said after you complete these 15 episodes of Empire, you got to walk away for a while or forever.
For good. I mean, everyone keeps trying to tell me don't say it's forever, but I've spent 37 years pretending to be people so that people can pretend to watch and enjoy what I'm doing when I've made some discoveries in my own personal life with the science that, you know, Pythagoras was searching for. I was able to open up the flower of life properly and find the real wave conjugations that we've been looking for 10,000 years. Why would I continue?
What Terrence is describing isn't just a wild Hollywood rumor. It's the dark underbelly of fame, a culture of silence and submission. When he talks about people losing their integrity, he's calling out how power and access twist morality. It's chilling because it's not just about Diddy. It's about an entire system where success comes with invisible strings. Think about it, how many careers were built or broken behind closed doors at those infamous parties? Terrence's words slice through the glitz and force everyone to ask, what price are you really paying for fame?
Which is your butthole, you become fluid and like nothing, you get all fucked up. Yeah, he's a mathematician, so he was saying like the geometry, like the underpinning of your structural manhood.
Like the center of gravity, he thinks is your butthole.
It's your butthole, and once you,
which by the way, I can't prove him wrong.
It's something to it, man.
Sounds like he's right again.
You say it's Terrence Howard, mathematician,
hustle and flow.
Oh boy,
the hustle and flow guy that's now
and they can't get over it, and they got to keep getting high, hoping to get it out of their head. You know, but when you lose your man card. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. So it's like achieving don't mean anything. if I get all the Nobel Prizes from doing all of this, but in the process, I have to trade out all of my integrity to do it so that they can stay in place. What benefit is that if I lose my integrity? You got to go in as a principal. Buffy invited me. I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there, he's looking at me. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to f you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, okay.
This is where it gets real. Terrence admits he's lost business deals for refusing to play along. And that's a bold stand in an industry where compliance often equals success. What he's revealing is the emotional toll of saying no when everyone else says yes. He's not just talking about Diddy. He's exposing Hollywood's pressure cooker. A place where boundaries blur and no can cost you everything. It's integrity versus influence, and few survive that battle with their conscience intact.
A while ago when they linked up.
I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at it. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to...
Here's my issue with this, whether that's true or false. Now, for the record, I'm a huge fan of Terrence Howard. I think he's one of the GOATs at acting. I done watched everything from The Best Man and Crash all the way to Lackawanna Blues. A lot of y'all never even seen that film. Why you ain't tell this man why he was right there in front of your face when you felt it at this moment? Now, granted, a lot of females that be victims of stuff, whether they're lying or telling the truth, and some of them, when they telling the truth, they want to say it like years later. They kind of explain why they didn't say it when it happened out of like certain fear and certain trauma or whatever. But men ain't got no excuse. Any on earth try to touch me on some home shit and I'm not home, I'm hetero. My nigga be a problem. You want some weird shit? I'm not waiting years later till you get locked up on some female. That's female. Like, we gotta stop this.
Now, when Terrence starts talking about walking away from Hollywood, it hits differently. This isn't a burnout story. It's an escape story. You can hear in his tone that he's done being someone else's puppet. The man talks about sacred geometry and unlocking the flower of life. But beneath that, it's clear he's searching for peace after years in a toxic cycle. Hollywood gave him fame, but it also tried to take his soul. And walking away might have been his only way to survive.
He said no consequences when he said no.
Puffy invited me for weeks asking me to come and teach him wanted me to be his acting coach for a while. Go there and he's sitting around just looking. I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at it. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music, and he's sitting there just looking at it, like waiting. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to... That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh, now I get it. So now no more communication. Now you notice to be hands off with somebody. A number of producers come in and make the approach, and you threaten to punch them in the mouth, threaten to knock their head off for talking to you like, or looking at you like you're a woman. When you approach a real man about his masculinity, you're going to get a real reaction. It's a difference when a walks in a room and when a man walks into a room. And a man don't take the same things that a will accept. So
here's where the conversation circles back to Diddy. And this part hits like a thunderclap. The imagery Terrence uses is uncomfortable, but symbolic. He's saying that when you compromise your core values, your moral center, everything else collapses. What's haunting is how many big names he implies have done just that. We've seen the headlines, the breakdowns, the addictions. Now he's connecting the dots between those private compromises and public meltdowns. It's raw, uncomfortable truth, the kind few have the guts to say out loud.
About you leaving Hollywood, Rob. If you want to play this clip, go for it.
Terrence Howard here. You made huge headlines when you said after you complete these 15 episodes of Empire, you got to walk away for a while or forever.
For good. I mean, everyone keeps trying to tell me don't say it's forever, but I've spent 37 years pretending to be people so that people can pretend to watch and enjoy what I'm doing when I've made some discoveries in my own personal life with the science that, Pythagoras was searching for. I was able to open up the flower of life properly and find the real wave conjugations that we've been looking for 10,000 years. Why would I continue,
Then they wouldn't have made such a big stink about it. But the fact that I was able to show them with their calculate that because they have 1 times 1 equaling 1.
Right.
An action times an action without a reaction. And as a result of it, you get this contradiction with the square root of 2 being cubed, having the same value as the square root of 2 2 times 2, which should say a red flag, a herring right away that there's something wrong with the mathematics, with that being the problem that leads into the distribution of prime numbers, because the number 2, any prime number that you subtract from another prime number, always is going to end up in a composite number. But except with the case of the number 2. That's the only prime number that you subtract from another prime number and you end up in a prime number. Why? Because the
I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over.
Taraji P. Henson's brutally honest and emotional explanation of Hollywood's pay disparity is going viral.
I hear people go, you work a lot. I'll have to. The math ain't mathing. Big bills come with what we do. We don't do this alone. The fact that we're up, there's a whole entire team behind us. They have to get paid.
Inflation, equal pay for black actresses.
So 2018 was when I finally got a real quote. And that is the last time that I haven't gotten a raise since then. And each and every project that I have to fight for that.
You still have to fight.
I have to fight for that. Yeah.
What does that do to you?
That's why I'm not excited anymore.
It takes
all of that away. And I know what other people are getting paid.
What do you think that's about?
It's about me being a woman and a black woman. I still don't think that this town respects.
Terrence's warning about trauma in the industry cuts deep. You can almost feel the pain behind his words. They still gave something up. He's not just talking about parties or power games. He's describing soul damage, the kind that money can't fix. Addiction, depression, identity loss. It's the quiet epidemic behind celebrity smiles. When he mentions Justin Bieber, it's not shade. It's a mirror. This is the cost of chasing fame without guardrails. And for Terrence, it's proof that losing yourself is far worse than losing a role.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
If you profit off of my name while calling me a liar, then be prepared to stand behind your accusations. Because in the old world, men didn't hide behind anything when they spoke against someone. They had to speak it with their whole being. And if you're going to speak against me, then use the same courage that it took for me to say those truths. Man to man, eye to eye.
Gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You could take the deal one time, but he was like, yo, I fuck with your demo, that shit. You know, bad boy, but hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap? Like, nah.
I was doing it for 2 years.
Yo, but the jet leaves at 5. We going to Miami, Playboy. We going to, you know what I'm saying? We going to New York. We in ATL this weekend, Playboy, pop out. And I was going everywhere with Diddy. And then one day, me and Diddy was smoking. He was like, you know what I've been thinking? You belong with Dr. Dre. No, you don't say. But yeah, so Diddy told me that, and before I went to go fuck with Diddy, I went to go fuck with Suge. And Suge had, at this time, if you remember, he had Eastwood, Crooked Eye, Corrupt, and Left Eye. And I felt like, you know, I was young, and I had my whole hood with me. My city was behind me, like Death Row. Why wouldn't you want to be signed to Death Row? It's Pac, it's Snoop, it's Dre, it's Suge. And plus, I didn't give a fuck at that time about nothing. I wanted to do the music, but I was still heavy in the street.
Did you and Puff maintain a relationship over the years, or not really?
I still got a relationship with Puff. Whenever I talk to him, it's always gonna be the same. He ain't never been nothing to me but a good person. I've been around Puff for millions of times, and I ain't never seen, you know, none of the shit that people are talking about, but that's just my experience. I don't know what other people experience, if it's true, if it's not true, or whatever. I just know Puff always been good, a good mentor and a good big brother, and somebody in hip hop that I looked up to for obvious reasons. Outside of the Cassie situation, which, you know, I think they settled that, right? So he had that.
He settled it quick.
Right. So that means that he owned up to whatever it was that they had.
Well, just to be fair, I don't want to interrupt you, but settling doesn't mean you own up.
I'm not saying own up. I'm saying he took the responsibility to settle something that was in the media that needed to be settled, is what I'm saying.
Called freak offs. Very interesting term.
I've never witnessed that type of behavior. I don't know what a man do in his bedroom or nothing like that. They was rocking together. From what I know. All I know is they both was rock stars, living their best life.
At this stage, it's clear. Terrence didn't just dodge a party invite. He dodged a career death trap. The way he describes Diddy's acting sessions, turning into uncomfortable silences, feels straight out of a thriller. His assistant sensed it. He walked away. That decision might have saved his peace. And here comes 50 Cent, the industry's unofficial truth teller, collecting stories, receipts, and turning pain into production. His upcoming doc isn't just gossip. It's a cultural reckoning. If this series lands the way people expect, it could shift how Hollywood handles power and accountability forever.
Yes, he was.
So you met Puffy through Jodeci?
I met Puff at I think it was Live Aid. That was the name of the concert in New York. And they were like, yo, Biggie and Puff on the show. I didn't know. I'm on Jodeci wave. You know what I'm saying? I'm really into R&B at this point. I'm, got my roots stuck in R&B. So I'm like, I don't know these guys. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, how I met Puff was Chad Elliott, Dr. Seuss. You know what I'm saying? Great friend of mine, a brother to me.
You're hanging out with Diddy in his mansion in Miami, and Homeland Security rushes in while you're there.
While I'm there, Dolo.
You're there by yourself.
Yeah. With he has some employees there. And stuff. Yeah.
So suddenly there's red dots all over your shirt.
Yeah. I'm like, damn, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I really could. I didn't know what to think. I didn't even think it was real at first.
Right. Now, you didn't do anything wrong, so you don't get arrested. Right. But did they cuff you and everything?
They didn't cuff me. They just, detain me, move me to an area. Yeah.
Now Jay-Z's claiming, we weren't really that close, bro. But Diddy missed a milestone moment with his kid to perform with Jay.